Welcome to Uncloaked Delusions. I'm Chris Anthony, and I'm here to just express a little appreciation for the interview that I conducted with my father, Jamil Aziz Johnson. I really enjoyed myself, and I believe he enjoyed himself, and I believe the audience enjoyed themselves. They got some very pivotal points on what the Black community can do to possibly improve. And there were things that I felt really touched bases with me and my perspective of the Black community. One is the integration that we've been doing since we've been brought to this country. Instead of us integrating, we need to create our own and stop trying to be a part of something that fundamentally we're not. Another point he made was dealing with the economics of our community. Yes, we produce like $1 trillion of revenue going out of our communities, and absolutely nothing comes back in. And we allow foreigners to come into our neighborhoods and solicit to us the things that we should be selling to each other. And we don't invest in anything as well. Our education, owning anything, and investing in any kind of precious metals. We don't do these things, and we need to learn these things. And also, we've been implemented also into that narcissistic realm that exists within Hollywood, and that's pretty much metastasized out of Hollywood. And it's become the norm of the country. It's things that we do need to work on, and my dad definitely made some valid points that I really feel strongly about. Now, also, someone mentioned something to me about the Middle East and Africa and what's going on there. And based on the research that I've done and the information that I get on a daily basis when it does come up, I know that China is in Africa and they are implementing a particular infrastructure system, building roads, building sewage that is actually working properly, trying to modernize Africa. And we are in Africa creating more death, more chaos, more havoc. Because in truth, that is the only thing that the United States can provide and sells to any country. We want to make a big deal and sing praises about humanity and human rights. And we sell more weaponry than any other country on this planet. Food for thought. Now, when I think of Africa, I think of Libya. I think of the leader Muammar Gaddafi. I think of Libya, 1951, and prior to that was the poorest country in Africa, in the world, and Muammar Gaddafi bought that country from that particular place to the wealthiest country in North Africa. He provided like high quality education. I believe the literacy rate in Libya was like 83% at that point. Newlyweds would get like $500,000, or no, I'm exaggerating, $50,000 from the government to get them started. You know, the cars, if one purchased one, the government would pay half on the car. The electricity in Libya was free for everybody. Homes were something that the government gave away as a policy that Muammar had promised that there will be no Libyans without a home, and he kept his word on his promise. And this was something that this country experienced before NATO invaded this country and overthrew the government. They sodomized this leader in public. They murdered him in public. And the Libyans loved Gaddafi. They loved their leader because their leader delivered on every promise he made. His father was not housed. I think his father passed away without being housed because that was one of his promises, that every Libyan would be looked after, even before his parent. And he kept his word even on that. There were literally no banks owned by corporations or outside entities in that country. It was a state-owned bank. Gaddafi was moving away from selling the oil for the dollar. He was trying to get a African dinar going. So that is what they would pretty much sell their oil in. The United States didn't agree with that. They didn't care for it. They did everything in their power to usurp that government from the 90s on. And they weren't successful. And it's very, very telling that the president that was able to succeed in that objective was our half black president, Barack Obama. And your Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, who is legendary for saying, we came, we saw, he died, with the evil chuckle at the end of it. And this is what the politicians in the United States, they stand for. It's not just Hillary Clinton. Let's be real. Let's be honest. It's not just Hillary Clinton. It's any of the politicians, any of them. We have a country ran by lawyers, and lawyers, they only are concerned with lining their pockets. They'll protect a corrupt person. They'll protect someone that they are certain is guilty. They know they're guilty, but they'll protect them. That tells you a lot about what's running your country. Now, moving on from that, I just wanted to shed some light on the entire Libya situation. Even Saddam Hussein, he was moving away from using the dollar in his country, and suddenly he had weapons of mass destruction over there. And that's with any country that is trying to peg its way away from the United States hegemony. They suddenly become these inhibitors of peace, of world peace. They suddenly become killers of their own people. and we in the United States, via media, we don't get the truth. We fall for this information, and it's always kind of like blackballed and wiped under the rug. We need to change that. And I know that I went from black community to Libya, but that's still a black community. It's still a black community. And my analogy that I normally use to describe black people and what they allow themselves to become is, we as a people, we will sell each other out for pennies on a dollar. Pennies. Other races, if they sell out their race, they're going to sell them out for the dollar. They want the entire dollar. We, on the other hand, we want pennies. Something needs to change about that psychology. With that being said, I say we need to open up the dialogue for some conversation to happen, and I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to read your comments. I would love for you to just subscribe to my channel so I can continue to bring you information. And this will evolve. This will get better. I'm getting out of this timid state of not wanting to be videoed or filmed. I really don't like all of that. So this is something new for me. It's almost like my therapy in a sense. And I always have so many thoughts that I need to express them somehow, some way. And politics is one of those subjects that I feel strongly about. Geopolitics, philosophy, I love science as well. Like I love anything that makes a person or induces a person to think. You know, I just hope that you guys enjoyed that interview and you've taken something from it. This is Chris Anthony. Have a good night.